Please be merciful by awarding me with the particle of faith and giving me the great treasure of holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours, therefore you are able to give him to others. This is certainly within your power. I am indeed wretched and fallen, simply running after you, crying Krishna, Krishna.
Okay, so we'll start with prayers and then we'll recite the sloka. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaja Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dati Swahantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutavadagamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we continue our study on Upadeshamrit, Nectar of Instruction. So we are on text 5. We are almost half of the way in text 5. Okay, let us recite the verse first. Okay. Are you able to see the document?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Krishne tejassa giritam manasadriyeta
Krishneti yasya giritam manasa driyeta
Dikshasti chet pranatabhischa bhajantamisham
Dikshasti chet pranadibhischa
Pranadibhischa
bhajanti
bhajantam
misham
vishesham
Shushrusaya bhajana vignam
Shrushaya bhajana
Shushrusaya
vigna
bhajana
mananya
vidyam
manya
ananyamanya
Nindadishunyamarudamipsita sangalatya
Nindadishunya
Nindadishunya ipshita sangalatya.
kalpabadhya.
Yeah. So we are continuing on this verse. The first 2-3 verses speaking about the fencing aspect, what not to be done, and favorable things and unfavorable things. And then once we choose the association, which is the backbone for the devotion creeper, how to deal, how to reciprocate with devotees, yeah, how our behavior should be, Vaishnava etiquette. The fifth verse speaks about what to do, and sixth verse speaks what not to do with devotees. And also there are gradations of devotees, as Rupa Swami is giving, because by that only we advance in devotional service. Other things may be externally we may be performing our chanting and our taking prasad, coming to classes, taking darshan of the deities, etc. Definitely, these are all potent devotional aspects, as you will read in NOD, 64 limbs and the 5 potent limbs of devotional service. But of the major importance is also one of the major importance is how we deal with devotees and how we live in association of the devotees. That is a very crucial aspect that decides, as we are reading also, that is a major criteria who is a kanishta, who is a madhyam, and also uttam. So madhyam, kanishta, as we also saw the gradation or the categorization from Bhagavatam, that though one may be doing deity worship, serving the deity in the home or in the temple, but if he is not respecting the devotees or not having proper relationship or some criticism or some kind of fault finding, which will be spoken in the sixth verse, especially the fault finding. But if there is no proper reciprocation with devotees, then his advancement may not be very swift. He may be obstructed. That's why even the after 10 offenses, the holy name, the first offense is the trying to criticize the notion of sadhuninda or trying to find faults with devotees. Or in another way, if you want to put, if you are not unable to appreciate other devotees or their contributions or their presence, this is in a positive notation of the first offense to the holy name. First offense is that we criticize or we blaspheme the devotees who are trying to propagate the glories of the holy name. So one may say that, okay, I am not criticizing anyone. I am not blaspheming anyone. I don't speak ill of anyone. Okay, that's okay. That is a neutral platform. But how much we are eager to appreciate or recognize, acknowledge at least their presence and recognize their contributions, appreciate their valuable association. So these are all positive aspects to the same first offense. So those things also on a positive connotation we need to increase. So that's how we advance in devotional service. At least a kanishta, a devotee, or the neophyte devotee who may worship the deity, but if he's not dealing with the devotees properly, then his advancement may not be very swift. So there is a very beautiful, very instructive, profound pastime in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains about this aspect of dealing with the devotees and dealing with the deity. He says that just like if a person is worshipping the deity, that is considered like serving the lotus feet of the deity. So here the analogy is you need to, there is a little subtle aspect is there. Try to understand. He says that if you are serving the deity, or in the sense if you are performing your bhajan, it's considered like serving the lotus feet of the deity. But if you are unable to, if you are failing to reciprocate with devotees, rather we are trying to criticize, find faults, or having ill feelings, grudges inside the heart towards other devotees. It's like a beating on the head with a stick. On whom? Not on the devotee. It's on the deity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compares this that our bhajan may be considered like serving the lotus feet of the deity, But if we are not dealing with the other devotees properly, rather we are trying to minimize them or criticize them or propagate some ill fame about them, backbiting. So all these considered like a beating on the head of the deity, the stick. Very, very profound and very graphic examples of what we are doing in our devotion service. So that's the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how we need to also be careful, extremely careful about how we deal. Because we should not be in panic zone and, every time we check what I'm doing. But definitely we need to be careful where we are going wrong. For the antidote is very simple. We just appreciate devotees whenever we meet or whenever we see or even in the heart. We appreciate many times. We remember the devotees, we remember their contribution to our lives. And appreciate them, glorify them. There are many ways to develop those aspects. How to appreciate other devotees, recognize them, acknowledge them. So these are positive things. So that negative things automatically will be drowned in the positive appreciation. So in the appreciation, these are the at least respecting. Appreciation is a little bit ahead of that. At least respecting how one should be respecting others. At what levels these are spoken in this verse. Adriyeta. If someone is chanting, we are respecting in the mind. And also while if somebody is initiated, Diksha, then we offer obeisances. Also, we offer obeisances in the mind, also respecting the mind as well, along with offering obeisances with the body. And Bhajana Vignam Ananyamanya Shushraya, we desire and we aspire to serve them and we take opportunity to serve them. Shushraya, Bhajana Vignam Ananyamanya. What is the main quality? Should be longing for. So we have seen, Prabhupada, various categories of devotees, Kanishta, Madhyam. We have seen from Bhagavatam, two classifications. And how we should be careful about Mayavad, association of the Mayavad people, mentalities also. Prakriti Sahajiyas was speaking about. They should be respected. People should be respected, but association should be avoided because they are chanting Hare Krishna. So innocent, Krupa, Maitri, Prema, Maitri, Krupa, Upeksha. So there are four categories. To the Lord, Prema. To the devotees, Maitri. To innocent or ignorant, we show compassion, Krupa. And then we avoid, we neglect the envious people, Upeksha. So then Prabhupada spoke about practical how we progress in devotional service.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one question, should I go ahead?
Please.
Like it is mentioned here, like, who are innocent and like got carried away due to wrong association. So what is expected from us towards those kind of people? Like,
if we can enlighten them, educate them, enliven anyways, in three ways, either way by giving them books for education or bringing them to temple or some festivals, giving them an enlivening experience in festivals, etc. So enlightening in terms of taking to a very senior devotee or a very advanced devotee so that they have a profound experience or an enlightening experience, whatever is possible, or at least we give them prasad, starting with if they are unable to come to temple or etc. So in different ways, we can try to build the Ajnata Sukruti in them. That is the main point. The Ajnata Sukruti comes by the coming in touch with the devotional aspects. Yeah, if they're able to chant, if they're able to pick up the chanting and we convey the message, that's very good. But generally, it's not most of the times. So we try to give them books, we try to give them prasad, we invite them to temple, festivals, programs, etc. like that. Whatever is feasible to them, whatever they can digest. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. Okay, thank you,
In that
Prabhuji.
in that way, we try to encourage them, inspire them. Especially in Maharashtra and South India, in India also generally, people are very much wanting to do something in a home also. We can encourage them to keep some kind of photos or offer some tulasi or keep some tulasi plant in their home, water tulasi every day. So because Maharashtra is so pious in terms of even India itself. People when we ask for please keep some tulsi plant in home and water every day, take care of her 3 times at least once a day for water, etc. People are ready to do that. So by that, the Agnya Sukriti becomes very much keep on increasing their homes. Apart from that, whatever you feel with the relationship that you have with those people, we encourage them. Different devotional aspects, we encourage them. If they're able to offer bhoga to the Lord once a day, that's definitely an advanced stage. But yeah, something like that. Basically, that is the principle that we encourage them to involve in some kind of devotional aspects, either daily or at least regularly or frequently, like that, depending on our relationship and depending on their receptivity. Okay, so progress in Prabhupada spoke about how we progress in Krishna consciousness. They're all being given chance. Prabhupada is giving here. Everyone we are giving chance. There is no any kind of discrimination to the people in general that Prabhupada spoke about. So then we are saying how one can advance from Kanishka to Madhyam. We have seen how it happens by Diksha, by initiation. Then Prabhupada spoke about initiation aspects of initiation technicalities, what happens in the Diksha, and how one advances accepting initiation from Kanishka to Madhyam. So these are all some aspects, details are given here. We have seen that one. And then not just Diksha means taking a formal initiation and attending a fire sacrifice, but we it's a commitment to purify ourselves. Initiation is not just purification, it is a lifetime of commitment for purification. Purification started, initiation means starting. So initiation means starting. So that purification started, and we need to. It's a lifetime commitment for our purification initiation. How we purify? So the main, the crux of the initiation is to chant the holy name, and also at the level of Nama Bhas at least, and Shuddhanam is the goal. So in that way we purify ourselves and we gradually ascend to the Madhyama platform. So on the Madhyama platform is like an advanced consciousness. Basically, these three are like a consciousness of advanced, not only activities, but is advancement in consciousness. How a Madhyama, how a Kanishta, how a Uttama deals with the different things of this world, in what consciousness it deals. So those we have seen here. So we have seen the holy name, how one deals with the holy name, and how one chants the holy name. Madhyamadikari. He has a prema to the Lord. We are trying our level best to come to that stage. So we try our level best to not commit offenses while chanting the holy name. One statement is this Mahatma Prabhu makes that offensive chanting means do not put efforts to avoid 10 offenses while chanting the holy name. That is offensive chanting. Offensive chanting means not endeavoring or not having, not putting efforts to avoid 10 offenses while chanting the holy name. So if you are putting if you are putting efforts, that means you are preparing nicely in 22 hours. And even before chanting, you can read something 2-3 minutes about chanting. That means you are endeavoring that you are showing to Krishna, Krishna, I am interested in you. I want to improve your chanting, not improve your chanting. I want to improve my chanting. Your chanting your holy names, chanting your holy names. I am trying to improve. Now, these are all some aspects that we take care while chanting, before chanting, during chanting, and after chanting also we offer prayers. Shodhana. Shodhana prayers can be offered after chanting also. There is also kind of a worship. Generally after DT worship or DT backup or DT, if you were or if you are performing DT, some services in temple or wherever, after the DT worship we have Shodhana, Aparadh Shodhan, and verses. So after chanting also we can praise to the holy name and begging for mercy, begging for forgiveness, for inattention, for many other things that are happening in our chanting. And then we beg for an opportunity to serve better next time, while japa and while kirtan both. So in that way we come out of gradually we come out of sense chanting. Actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in one book that there are 3 lifetimes for a devotee. One lifetime to perfection he's saying. To perfect a devotee, he's saying, it may take 3 lifetimes. One lifetime goes in offensive chanting. One lifetime is almost Navabhas. One life is Shuddhana. Of course, this is a kind of a general growth of a devotee. But if a devotee is very serious, very determined, within one life, as Prabhupada mentioned also, within one lifetime, definitely one can perfect his life. What to speak of one life? Prabhupada mentions, I think, in 2.71 purport. One can perfect one's life within a second, or it may take millions of lifetimes. So, like that, it depends on the practitioner, mainly, majorly, in that way. But he gives us just kind of a categorization: 3 lifetimes. One lifetime is Namabhas, one lifetime is Namaprad, one lifetime is Dana. So we endeavor our level best to progress towards Namabhas at least, and then to Shuddhana. Shuddhana means basically we are having a background of Sikshastakam, 3rd or 4th verse as a background. That I am your servant, my dear Lord. I forgot you. I am serving Maya from millions of lifetimes. Now I want to serve you. Whatever, some devotional prayer. I want to be engaged in your service. There are various prayers are there, various meanings are given by acharyas. And Prabhupada also explained that, oh my dear Radharani, oh energy of the Lord, Krishna, please engage me in your service. And we can recite the meaning also after one round or in between whenever we are distracted. That can be done. So in that way we come out of offensive chanting to offenseless chanting. Okay, then Prabhupada categorizes, then the categorization goes on to the level of faith. Till now, the categorization was on based on, of course, Rupa Goswami didn't give exact names in this verse, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, but he just gave kind of how different devotees externally, we need to respect them. But based on various writings of Acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Prabhu Goswami himself, Prabhupada brought out this topic of Kanishta Madhyamuttam. Of course, you might have read in Upanishad also. Topic comes these three categories of devotees. So, though the verse is not mentioning, but it is indicating these categories definitely. And Prabhupada is categorized on various levels, various resources based on Srimad Bhagavatam one categorization. And this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now he's going through what Chaitanya Charitamrita says about these three devotees, what are their qualities basically. Here it says categorization based on faith. So can some devotees can start reading?
Yes, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Okay, Praji, thank you.
Go ahead.
Categorization based on the faith, Shraddha. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.69, it is said,
Read translation again.
okay, one whose faith is soft and feeble is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Everyone he begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes the chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama Adhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes the 16th round daily because people in Western countries cannot concentrate long period while chanting on beads. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura used to say that unless one chant at least 1664 rounds of japa, like 100,000 name, he is considered fallen patita. According to his calculations, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with the seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen.
Yeah. So here this is a famous verse. Yahara Komal Shraddha Sai Kanishta Jan Krame Krame Te Ho Bhakta Hoive Uttam. This is based on Shraddha, Komal Shraddha, on whose faith is Komal. The Shraddha is very soft in the sense. Oh, he understands, oh, Krishna is Supreme Lord. I'm his servant. I'm trying to serve. But if he hears from other, when he is going out and mixing with other people, family, or relatives, etc., then if they say something else, then his Shraddha is again disturbed. So from that point, he is called Kanishta. But he also comes to temple, chants name sometimes. But krame krame te ho bhakta hoive uttam. But if he sticks to the holy name, sticks to chanting the holy names, and gradually he can become Tamadikari. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And Prabhupada is bringing out the vital aspect of chanting holy names again here. If one properly finishes chanting prescribed number of rounds, one definitely elevates to Uttamadhikari level. So chanting definitely becomes the basis, the foundation for our spiritual advancement. That's our minimum prescription, as Prabhupada himself gave such a concession here. You definitely might be knowing that initially it was 64 when he gave the first initiation in 1966. Devotees were asked to chant 64 rounds a day. So then, after some days, devotees went and kind of a complained or expressed their inability, not complaining, but they're expressing their inability and kind of exhaustion. We are unable to chant 64 a day and do other things also. And Prabhupada said, okay, 32 minimum. Then for some days also it went like 32. That was also becoming quite difficult for them. Then they said, then Prabhupada himself said, okay, 16 minimum and no more. So that's how it was came to 16 rounds minimum. That's what Prabhupada here prescribed, is himself writing that they are unable to chant 16 rounds for long period of times. They are unable to focus, concentrate for long periods for while chanting on the beats. So that's why it's fixed on. Therefore, minimum number of rounds is prescribed. The minimum. Then he explaining how Bhakti Thakur mentioning unless you chant 64 a day, one is called Patita. But Prabhupada is saying here, because we are following with all seriousness and without duplicity, means we are in parampara, because Prabhupada comes in parampara and he is authorized. He is authorized and he authorized the process of chanting minimum 16 rounds. Because he gave the concession, then it becomes a bona fide. Then it became a bona fide thing. And that he's taking the responsibility for all of our advancement. If we are sincere to at least complete 16 rounds with 4 regulative principles, and we are not dupliciously doing something else, then definitely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will shower mercy through Prabhupada. By that we advance from lower level to higher levels. This is basically based on the Shraddha, and the Shraddha also becomes strengthened by chanting holy names gradually. That's the main point. But the main point was Shraddha. Based on Shraddha, Komal Shraddha becomes gradually. He is the Komal Shraddha of Kanishta Adhikari, becomes Uttam. Okay, then another categorization based on chanting the holy names. One is based on Shraddha. One who has a very soft and pliable faith is called Kanishta or Komala Bhakta. And one who is advanced Uttam Bhakta, who has a very staunch faith, very strong faith. He is not disturbed or deviated anytime by any kind of arguments or any situation, either come from his own life or from others. Whatever may happen, he continues his devotional service. That's the faith of his devotee, as Madhyamadikari and Uttamadikari. That's how our faith has to grow day by day also. Just like pouring water to a tree, it becomes gradually stronger and stronger in the trunk and roots also. Tree becomes strong. Similarly, our faith also, day by day, we need to improve the strength. We should become strong with faith, whatever may happen in life. Because life is always uncertain. But many things are not in our control. Anything can happen in time. But still, we keep the faith in Krishna that He is taking care of my life. That's what we have seen, that 6 limbs of Sharanagati, that the Krishna will protect me and Krishna will maintain me because I have taken shelter. I'm trying to follow the process. He is there to look after me. That kind of faith has to grow gradually, will grow gradually, definitely. So that is the mainly based on faith. And then another categorization is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the conversation between a devotee who comes for the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come from Bengal to Puri for Rath Yatra. And there was conversation also sometime. There were a conversation one time about chanting the holy names and how a devotee advances in devotion service. So based on chanting holy names, there is a categorization also. So please read here. Arvind, continue.
Categorization based on chanting holy name. When Srila Satya Satyaraja Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized. The Lord replied, प्रभु कहे यानर मुखे सुनी एक बार कृष्ण नाम से ही पूज्य श्रेष्ठ सबकार. If one hears a person says even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Leela 15.106, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, अतएव यानर मुखे एक कृष्ण नाम सेत वैष्णव करिया तनहारा समा. Accepted as
One
Vaishnava,
who is
one who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice like or to chant Krishna names should be accepted as Vaishnavas and offered respect such as at least within one's mind.
Yeah.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Yes, please.
Yeah, here Prabhupada mentioning about how a Kanishta Bhakta has to be recognized. But he is, if a person is just chanting once or just chanted once, or sometimes he's chanting, so that person has to be respected with at least within one's mind. That is the point. Now the purport also goes like 3 levels. Kanishta, he will explain the principle, then he gives some examples about the Kanishta Bhaktas in terms of chanting holy names, and then he continues again to Madhyama, then he goes to Uttama. So now we are dealing with the Kanishta devotee based on chanting holy names. Just by once chanting, he is called Kanishta, and he gives example now. Please read. Any other devotee?
Yes, Prabhuji. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. And even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation. For we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect.
Continue.
Conclusion. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord.
So now he explained about the Kanishta Adhikari. Who is Kanishta Adhikari? What are the examples? He gave George Harrison's example. Though he didn't mention his name, but he is giving the details of an English famous English musician who helped Prabhupada a lot by his music, by writing songs, composing music for the songs, and making the Hare Krishna Mahamantra very famous during the 1970s, 60s, and 70s. Hare Krishna album became quite revolutionary in the West. And the album of Hare Krishna, chanting and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Of course, Prabhupada here is bringing out the example to show that we offer respects to him without any reservations. So that in that way, Prabhupada concluding that whoever chanting, at least trying to chant the holy names, we respect them internally at least. But on the other hand, if we see that those who are not chanting, even they fall gradually into material consumption. Prabhupada explaining about his experiences, those devotees who are unable to keep up to chanting and failing to chant makes one more materially oriented. So that is the main aspect about Kanishta Adhikaris in terms of chanting. Okay, continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Continuing the explanation based on faith, Shraddha and knowledge. While giving instructions to Sanatan Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories. शास्त्र युक्ति नाही जाने दृढ़ श्रद्धावान मध्यम अधिकारी से महाभाग्यवान. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service, should be considered a Madhyam Adhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.67. A Madhyam Adhikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.64, it is said, Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service, according to the development of his Shraddha or faith.
Yeah. So here Prabhupada again bringing the aspect of faith, how the divisions are made based on faith, and also he gives the knowledge. Another aspect of a categorization of the devotees, he adds to that Shraddha. There is also knowledge. One who is advanced in knowledge of devotional service, he is more Bhagyavan. Also, he becomes Madhyamatikari. One who has less knowledge about devotional service, about aspects of bhakti, is kind of a Kanishpadikari. So, based on Shraddha and based on Jnana, both are considered to categorize different devotees into different categorization. And of course, one point again, we need to remember that we are trying to categorization is seen just to take association and just to give respect accordingly, not to judge anyone or not also judge ourselves. Okay, I am an Madhyama or I am an Uttama. I need to be respected. Others should understand me. They should be giving respect to me. So it should not be like that. But it is to see others. Of course, we can definitely know ourselves where we are, and but a genuine devotee always feels that he is always a neophyte. That is a prerogative, or that is kind of a paradox. The highest devotees who are very advanced, they always think that I am the such a lowest and such a degraded person. Even if we hear the Acharya songs, Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, their feelings, Narottam Das Thakur, their songs, Sama Patita Babu, Napai Vihar, there is no fallen soul than me. So that's the definitely a consciousness of the advanced devotee. A neophyte devotee consciousness is always feels internally that I am the advanced devotee. He always feels that no one is better than me. So that's the internal check. If one is feeling okay, I am the advanced, then he is actually a neophyte. But as we are trying to genuinely feel that I don't have any advancement, that is also a genuine sign of advanced devotee. So these are all very subtleties are very high in this understandings. Who is advanced, who is neophyte. So we need to be a little careful about ourselves and about others when we are trying to deal with. Yeah. So here, based on knowledge and based on faith, is categorization based on Chaitanya Charitamrita, second chapter. I think is Madhya Lila, Sanatana Siksha. So those who are trying to develop faith, knowledge of the Shastras, a person whose conclusion knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting or firm faith in devotional service, is called a Madhyamadikari. So here we see that knowledge of the Shastras is not strong in the sense, let us suppose if someone comes and argues about the devotional service, he may not be able to answer on a philosophical level. He may not be able to give right answer, or he may not defeat the argument. But he is not deviated in his practices. He is not having any confusion or doubts or any kind of uh, deviating thoughts or thinking about less about bhakti in the heart. He has firm faith. He developed firm faith in chanting, in Krishna, in the deity, in the deity worship, in the personality of Godhead. But he's unable to give arguments or put arguments or counter argue logical statements to other people who come and argue. So that is a kind of is a Madhyamadikari. As we have seen, Kanishtadikari, knowledge is also very less and faith is also not strong. Faith is also very fragile. Komal Shraddha. So for him, it's both are less. Knowledge is less and faith is also very fragile. For that person, if someone argues or someone says, "Arey, why you are worshipping Krishna? See, worship all the different devatas. You will have so much more opulence and prosperity in home. Don't be just sticking to Krishna and all." So then he is distracted or disturbed. But for the Madhyamadikari, though he may not put arguments from Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says about demigod worship or devata worship, how they also get faith from Krishna only, how they are all acting under Krishna only, how Krishna's energies are only acting. So these arguments he may not be able to put forward, but he has a faith. What Krishna told or what devotional service is about. He has firm faith that he is not disturbed or distracted. He will not stop chanting Hare Krishna. Madhyamadikari. So that point is mentioned here. So for Uttamadikari or Uttamadikari, these both will be strong. Knowledge also at the same time, faith also will be extremely strong. Yeah. Shraddhavan jana hai bhakti adhikari, uttam madhyama kanishta shraddhanusari. Shraddha aspect is explained here. Now Prabhupada more focuses on what is Shraddha, what is Shraddha, what is not Shraddha, how to build that Shraddha kind of more. He goes into Shraddha aspects from Chaitanya Charitamrita only. Continue.
Definition of faith. Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22.62, it is said, श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृत है. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, automatically performs all subsidiary activities, confident, firm faith, favorable to the discharge, devotional service is called Shraddha.
Yeah, this confident, firm faith, favorable to discharge devotion is called Shraddha. So he has that firm faith. It is called Shraddha. Continue.
1 second, Guruji. I can't zoom, that is once.
Okay.
Should I read, Fuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, please continue.
Okay. What is Shraddha? Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The word, the words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretations. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etad ritam manne yan mam vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. BG 10:14. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. Should I
Continue.
read it? Yeah. What is not Shraddha? It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Summary on Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mamekam Saranam Vraja. Abandon all variety of religions and just surrender unto me. BG 1866. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life.
So yeah, now Prabhupada just gave more details about faith based on what exactly is faith, what is not faith. He gave example of he is quoting from Bhagavad Gita that we accept instructions from Shastra. So Shraddha hi Shastratra Vishwasa. This is Jiva Goswami's comment that when we are firm in the Shastra, accepting Shastra as the final, that Shraddha is called that faith is more firm. It is not common. That is actual Shraddha. That's what Prabhupada here bringing aspect of from Bhagavad Gita especially saying, and in general also from Shastra. That should be based on Shastra. Shastra the Vishwasa. Shraddha. So yeah, one should not accept a portion and our own interpretation, etc. But in their totality, Prabhupada concluding with that we are trying to base our life based on Dharma and Parityajya. Mamekam Sharanam Praja. The Sharanagati aspects, as I discussed previously also, Sharanagati aspect, Prabhupada writes in his purport, six limbs of Sharanagati. That is actual faith that we are developing more and more. Faith means we are becoming stronger and stronger in that six limbs of Sharanagati. Okay, continue. Bro.
Yeah. What, okay, with and without that strong faith, when engaged in chanting, what will be the results? When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevan mukhi hi jivado swayam eva spurti adaha. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Prabhuji, can you scroll?
Yeah.
Such service begins with the tongue, Sevan Mukhi Jivado, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasad. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotees.
Yeah. So here.
By practice and realization.
Yeah. Yes, bro. So here, Prabhupada, how the chanting has to be accompanied with the faith, and what happens if we don't have that kind of strong faith, that explains. And also he adds to the point that That faith has to manifest in terms of the desire to serve. Sevon mukehi jivvado swayameva spratyataha. So that the internal mood that I want to be a servant, I want to serve, I want to engage in your service. That has to be the main aspect of the chanting. Actually, remembering Krishna is the we chant to remember Krishna. That is the main goal of chanting. To remember Krishna, we need to chant. By chanting, we try to remember Krishna as much as possible, not artificially also, in the sense that we chant and we try to hear the mantra and we express our desire. Say, we have the desire to serve. With that only, our chanting becomes more and more comes to the Nama Bhas and Shuddhanam. At the same time, it results in terms of developing more and more faith, becoming stronger and stronger in the faith. And then Prabhupada concludes with that we should always chant holy names and accept prasad. By that, we come to the Madhyama platform. We are from Kanishta to we come to Madhyama platform. Then Prabhupada explains about how to come to Uttamadhikari from Madhyama. Yes, continue.
Prabhuji, what was BRS in the previous paragraph?
This is Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. This is Bhakti Rasam Sindhu.
Okay.
First wave, second chapter,
Okay.
34 verse. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we can go to the next paragraph. By practice and realization, one becomes Uttamadhikari. When a person realizes himself to be an external servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service, always thinking of Krishna devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately. Can you scroll, Prabhuji? Yeah. Should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, Tadati, Pratigrinati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavat without being self-realized, for by such imitation one will eventually become degraded.
So here Prabhupada explains what happens to a person when he is advancing to Uttamadhikari. He realizes himself, he's always thinking of Krishna, spreading the movement all over the world. And one may ask, okay, can a Grihastha devotee also Uttamadhikari? Yeah, definitely. He may not be saying that, but he may not be going all over the world and preaching. No, it is he is definitely aspiring and desiring, and is doing whatever he can. It's not that only one who goes all over the world and trying to spread Krishna consciousness. He's only Uttamadhikari. No, Uttamadhikari, as we'll see more symptoms, but the main symptom, as we have seen the words itself, that we don't have any kind of criticizing or blaspheming tendencies in the Sangalopcha. So he, and also, okay, one may say that, okay, I don't have any kind of a criticism mentality in mind. So can I be Uttamadhikari? Yeah, you can be Uttamadhikari, but other aspects also needs to be fulfilled, just like the faith, the knowledge, the strong practice, and by his influence, chanting, the aspect of chanting also came. So Kanishka Adhikari is once chanting. Prabhupada only took up one part of that question answer from Satyaraj Khan section. So once chants Hare Krishna, then he is accepted as a Kanishka Adhikari. One who is always chanting is called Madhyamadhikari. By seeing whom one chants the Hare Krishna, the person who is seen is called Uttamadhikari. By seeing whom one chants the holy name, that person is called Uttamadhikari. So that is the power of Uttamadhikari. By seeing him, people chant Hare Krishna. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees and Prabhupada and all the acharyas we have seen in our line also, current acharya also. Just by seeing them, just by being with them, just by being near to them, hearing from them, it inspires so much. There are so many stories, so many pastimes, and how people picked up chanting and started chanting, or inspired to take up devotional service just by being with them once. So that is the power of Uttamadhikari. It is said that Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj, he was living in Mayapur in one kind of a construction house, small house. So when he left that place once, when other devotees came and sat there, they used to hear the sound vibration, holy name from the walls. So that was the potency of Uttamadhikari, that they could feel and hear the vibrations of the sound vibration of the holy name from the walls. That is the potency of an Uttamadhikari. He can invest the holy name, the power of the holy name in anything and everything. Of course, Chaitanya, I think we read, in the last verse where Prabhupada explained, expressing himself that we may not be able to convert or make the animals chant just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in Jharkhand forest, but at least we can make human beings to chant the holy name. So that can be varied potencies, but definitely an Uttamadhikari is the one who can inspire others to chant the holy names. So at the different levels we have seen, yeah, one can definitely become an Uttamadhikari at various levels, even a Grahastha devotee also. It's not a bar. In his convent also there are many Grahastha devotees who are initiating spiritual masters. It's not that they are only sannyasis who's initiating gurus. No. We have practical examples, many of them. It's great Mahatma Prabhu, it's great Kratu Prabhu. There are many examples who are grahasthas, but they are spiritual masters on the level of spiritual masters. His grace Gurujan Prabhu, many. So it's a matter of determination, or practice, or sincerity, or dedication. So these are all the aspects of to advance from Kanishta to Uttam. So that the person, that means he understands this is only business in spreading Krishna consciousness from all over the world. So that is also one aspect of Uttamadhikari, should be accepted, and it should be. So that in that kind of association, we need to practice all these 6 things that are spoken in the previous verse. That's what the main point also Prabhupada made in the first lines also. So these to do all the 6 exchanges in the 4th verse, we need to choose an association, and that association is at least a Madhyama and Uttama. And definitely a Kanishta, we need to offer respects, and we can exchange whatever the level suits. Yes, like that. Okay, of course, here he's giving instructions to brahmacharis also, how brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to his master. Uttamadhikari is speaking, and then He's speaking about brahmacharis. One should not imitate a Mahabhagavat Uttamadhikari without being self-realized. We should not imitate, we should follow them. So he is following, a brahmachari has to follow, and others also should follow, and we should not imitate the Uttamadhikaris. Imitation and following definitely might have heard many times. All the six Goswamis, or even Karandakaras also, we cannot imitate them. Means we don't want to be like them, and we don't want to be kind of a imitating means we want to be them. I want to be Prabhupada. Some actually in the initial days, some are very much want to be like Prabhupada. Exactly. Just like walking like Prabhupada, walking exactly like taking cane and having the same kind of a dress. They were almost trying to imitate, but it's a very dangerous position just to imitate without following principles. So eventually one can degrade oneself. But Prabhupada is giving warning. Yes. Please read, continue.
Summary of the verse. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on the higher platform.
So Prabhupada himself is giving warning here. We should not imitate, but at the same time we endeavor to progress. So that's why he's saying we should.
Prabhu, he should not imitate, but he should make efforts to elevate himself to the upper position.
Yeah, that is the following. That is the following. Yes.
That is nothing wrong in it, no?
That is called following.
Okay.
That is not called imitation. We cannot imitate Raghunath Das Goswami. We cannot imitate Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We cannot imitate Prabhupada, sleeping only 2-3 hours and then doing
devotion. Correct. Very correct.
We cannot imitate, but we can follow, trying to reduce sleep, trying to reduce all kinds of things which are agitating the senses, which are trying to becoming more and more materially oriented. So we need to follow Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Thakur in those terms. We cannot imitate them. Yes, we should continue. Or other devotee want to continue? Any other? You want
Yes,
to
Prabhu.
recommend?
Yes, Prabhu. From this place, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura.
Yes.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttam Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttam Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master.
So this is about from Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying who is Uttamadhikari. Is defining, is giving one aspect of how to recognize also Uttamadhikari, that he has the capacity to change the hearts of many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. That is called Uttamadhikari. He can do that because he has that knowledge and he has that faith. It's like Prabhupada, all the acharyas. They have faith, they practice, they have faith, and they can instill that same faith in the others. See, faith, we can definitely read the books and have some kind of a faith in a process, because knowledge also strengthens the faith, as we have seen. Both knowledge, the faith can also be strengthened by reading scriptures and understanding the concepts. That is also helpful. But The faith is instilled by a Vaishnava that has a greater potency. When we hear a Vaishnava, when we associate with a Vaishnava, when we see a Vaishnava, how he's acting, how he's doing. Just like when we hear about Prabhupada, when we see Prabhupada on the videos, etc., read his pastimes, it has a greater potency to instill faith. Uttamadhikari has that, he can immediately instill that faith. What faith? Faith that I am servant of the Lord, faith that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, God is a person, and we need to serve him, and matter or material conception or material existence cannot give me happiness. It's only temporary. It only appears to be happiness. It only gives in the end misery. These are all various concepts, various things, and he instills faith in these facts, in these truths, eternal truths. So that happens by automatically association. And Prabhupada also here saying that definitely other Madhyama and Kanishta also can initiate people, but they have to be careful that they can only initiate those who are on the same level. They cannot take up disciples at a higher level. And also he is giving caution that a disciple who is aspiring to take initiation, try to choose an Uttamadhikari. Choose an Uttamadhikari, how you select. If I am a platform, I'm a neophyte, how I understand Uttamadhikari? By his activities, by his character, by his knowledge, by hearing from him. That's why it's mandatory to observe a spiritual master before taking initiation. It is mandatory. Even in ISKCON also, they will keep on both sides. The spiritual master observes the disciple, and disciples will observe the spiritual master. And then at a particular time, when he finally comes to a conclusion, having faith in him that he will definitely take me to Godhead, he will definitely help me in terms of spiritual advancement. He is a pure devotee, and he has the ability to make me also a pure devotee. So that kind of faith, when one develops, then he accepts initiation. So that is the main point here in this verse. Three levels of devotees we have seen: Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, based on indication of the text. Text is not saying about these three words, but Prabhupada built up the whole purport based on these three with the different levels, different categorizations. Because Rupa Goswami mentioned how one should aspiring devotee who is trying to advance in devotional service, how one should respect different devotees. That was mentioned in the verse, and Prabhupada categorized on based on chanting the holy names, based on faith. And these are the main two aspects he categorized. And lastly, also knowledge aspect is also added later on. Faith, knowledge, and chanting the holy names. These are the main categories taken for categorizing Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. And also from Bhagavatam point of view, that the first categorization as Prabhupada did from Bhagavatam, that one who is having only the consciousness is only developed to such an extent that he is taking only the deity as God, and he is unable to see any relationship between any other thing, like any other devotees or even matter also. He is unable to deal the energies of Krishna in a proper way. That is called Kanishta. But the one who advances gradually by chanting the holy names and following the regulated principles, one starts to see the connection between the Supreme Lord and also with all the manifestations of the Supreme Lord, not only devotees and other things also. So the more one advances in terms of dealing, then he is gradually advancing and he comes to Madhyam platform. This happens by chanting holy names, and we have seen how Prabhupada very emphatically mentioning at least 30-40% of the purport is focused on chanting the holy names. how one should gradually progress from offensive chanting to offenseless chanting, and then Shuddhana. That practical points are also mentioned, practical examples, practical uh, steps that we need to take in order to raise ourselves from Kanishta to Madhyam, Madhyam to Uttam gradually. Okay.
Prabhu,
So,
Uttam Adhikari means he should be thorough with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, CC, and other scriptures.
yeah, generally it's like that. Knowledge also, he has a firm knowledge, is kind of a very clarity in terms of knowledge. In all the scriptures also. But even sometimes we observe that one is not well acquainted with the details of the scriptures, but knows the conclusions of the scriptures very firmly or very nicely. Like his Divine Grace, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He is not in terms of academically educated in anything. He is from previous life, in the sense that before coming to Krishna consciousness, or before a devotee, he is like kind of a merchant in a Vaishya background. But as he manifested it, he is a devotee, and he became such an advanced devotee. But still, he is kind of an illiterate. But he knows the conclusions of scriptures. Whatever he spoke, it was the kind of Vedas, the authority on the Vedas. They are like a Vedic warning. That's what Bhaktivedanta Thakur said. Whatever he says is like a Vedavani. So that's how the manifest, because Krishna speaks from within when one is advanced. He may not be, sometimes, very rare cases may happen that may not be directly quoting from Shastras, but they can speak the conclusions of the Shastras. Like,
Right.
so that is the main point. Okay, anybody other has any comment or question, or any want to share something on this verse? Okay. Okay, you can go through purport later on. I will share the document. These points are very, especially NOI, Nectar of Instruction, as I said, is a very practical and day-to-day for our day-to-day sadhana, day-to-day life. It's very, very applicable. So we need to be a little more conversant with these verses and with these applications. What Prabhupada is speaking here in the Nectar of Instruction, especially. Okay, we will recite the next verse. So now, what what one should not do in the association? Yes, the Rupa Goswami spoke. What should we do? What we should do in the association, respecting especially. Nadapi sunitena, tarorapi sahishrana, amanina manadena. Manadena should respect. How one should respect is spoken in the fifth verse. And what one should not do in the seventh verse, in the sixth verse is speaking. Okay. Let us recite. Drashtai स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैः
दृष्टे स्वभावजनितै पुष्च दोषैः
द्रष्टै स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैः
दृष्टै स्वभावजनितै वपुश्च दोषैः
न प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्चेत्
न
न
प्राकृतत्वं
प्राकृतत्वम् इह
भक्तजनस्य
भक्तजनस्य
पश्येत्
पश्येत्
गङ्गाम्बसा न खलु बुद्बुदप्पेन पङ्कैर्
गङ्गाम्बसां न खलु
गङ्गामसाफलबुद्धफेन
बुद्बुदफेन पङ्के
पन्खैर्
ब्रह्मद्रवत्वमपि गच्छति नीरधर्मैः
ब्रह्मद्रवत्वम् अपि गच्छति
अपगच्छति
नीरधर्मैः
नीरधर्मै.
So here, it's a beautiful verse. Drashtai स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैः. Pashet. Pashet means one should see. Na pashet. Here na is added. Na pashet. One should not see. In whom Bhakta Janasya and the devotees, Bhakta Jan, especially Prabhupada clarifies the Uttam Bhaktas and even general devotees also. Bhakta Janasya na pashet. One should not see in the devotees. What one should not see? Prakrutatvam. Prakrutatvam means the state of being material. So the state of being material means material conditionings or material outlook should not be seen in the devotees. Prakrutatvam iha, iha here in this world. Iha means in this world. In this world. So we are in the association of the devotees. So in the association of the devotees, Bhakta Janasya Prakrutatvam na pashet. Our outlook should not be material in the devotee jana, in the Bhakta jana. Okay, Prakrutatvam, how the Prakrutatvam came or how it can be manifested. Yeah, it can be manifested because of Swabhava Janita, because of various factors, Swabhava, because there is Swabhava. The material outlook can come because of their Swabhava. Where it can come? Vapusha on the body, in the body, we can say. So, Vapusha dosha, the faults in the body because of Swabhava, Janita, because born of their Swabhava, should not be seen, drashtai, should not be seen by ordinary vision. By our vision, it should not be seen. So that is the main point. That the devotees, or especially the Uttam devotees, because of the Swabhava, if there are any faults in the Vapu, Vapusha dosha, that should not be seen. Na pashet, Bhakta Janasya na pashet Prakrutatvam. So that is the main point of the first two lines. How? Any example? Then he gave example. Angam basam nakalu budbud kaina pankay. Angam basam, ambasa, the waters of the Ganges. Certainly it will not. Na kalu, it will not. Though the budbuda fena pankay, all these muddy bubbles, foams, etc., mud, they may be there. But still, the Brahma Dravatvam means the spiritual potency or the transcendental nature, proper translates. Brahma Dravatvam means transcendental nature of the Ganga. Apagachati is spoiled. That is not spoiled by having external Budbuda, Fena, and Panka. Budbuda means bubbles, Fena means foam, and Panka means mud. So it is not spoiled. Apagachati is not spoiled. Niradharmai, the characteristics of the water. So that is the example that given. Just like Ganga, when you see on the Ganga or in a rainy day or in a rainy season, we may see some bubbles, some muddy water on top, foam, etc. But still, the Brahma Dharavatvam, the transcendental nature, the potency of the Ganga is not lost, is not spoiled. So similarly, a devotee externally may have some faults in the vapu, the body. So by that one should not come to a material conclusion. He is also a material body. He is also having a material body. By seeing some diseases or seeing some external deformations in the body, etc. By our vision, one should not come to a conclusion that Guru Naramatishu. One should not conclude that a spiritual master is an ordinary person. That is the greatest catastrophe for a spiritual life. That is for it varies, the degree of impact varies to the different devotees that we try to find fault. But those who are very advanced, the impact will very high. Impact will be very high. Of course, one should not disrespect to any devotee, and one should not find fault with any devotee. One should not criticize any devotee. But still, there is a gradation. If one finds faults or criticizes an advanced devotee, the effect is very fast and very high. We have seen, there are so many examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We might have heard also, might have read also. So one should be very careful. And also, we should not offend or see faults in those who are upcoming devotees, neophyte devotees, unless we have some authority, unless we are trying to instruct them, trying to educate them, trying to teach them. We are their mentors, we are their teachers, etc. And he has that authority to correct, to find fault, to chastise, to only with the motive to make him better devotee, not to with a intention to criticize, not arising from the grudge or hate or envy in the heart. That corrections are coming from a different platform. So that seeing some shortcomings are coming from a different platform. And he's seeing there are some shortcomings in the disciple or subordinate. And he has to see some shortcomings and he has to correct the shortcomings. By that, he's helping the devotee to come up. But if one is not responsible or if one is not qualified adhikar, then it's very risky to see finding faults in other devotees, especially advanced devotees. Yes, by finding faults, we will advance. By finding faults,
But
we
at
will
least,
advance.
Prabhu, we can if you find some shortcomings in the devotees as a neophyte, we can tell to the Uttam Adhikari, na Prabhu. He is the right person to correct him, na?
Yeah, that's also a good point that we can inform other devotees, seniors, superiors, yeah, to make him, to help him to come up in devotional service. Yeah, the motivation is also important that we want to help the devotee who is there on the bottom level to come up. That is also a good point that we can help other devotees by informing superiors, but it should be done. It is a very case sensitive also at the same time. How to inform, when to inform, whom to inform. Yeah, only it should be done very carefully. Yes, point is correct.
And if he
We
is
can.
very close to us, we
Yeah,
ourselves can tell him. If he is very
yeah,
close to us, and if he
correct,
takes in the right spirit.
correct. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. It's all case sensitive, so we need to be careful. Definitely, we need to help. So the main point of the verse is we should not unless we should not come to a material conclusion, especially towards an exalted devotee on the external platform by seeing external things. As I'm mentioning that even a small devotee also we need to be careful. Prabhupada gives the example of Dhruva Maharaj. He says that in the purport, Suruchi found fault in Dhruva and chastised Dhruva. It was at the age of 5. But because of that, when he became a devotee, pure devotee later on, that effect came on her. So in that the conclusion, Prabhupada writes, we should be very careful whether one is a devotee, whether one is a non-devotee, whoever it may be, whatever it may be. And we need to give respect accordingly. We need to give respect. Devonata yata yata. Sakale sammana kurite chakati. Devonata yata yata. Tabeto gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha behata. It's a Bhakti Thakur's, I think, song. Gurudev Prabhavinduya. It says that Sakale Samma Puriti Shakati. Let me have strength to respect everyone. Devonata Yatha Yatha means according to the position. That's the responsibility. We need to, by seeing the relationship with Krishna, we need to respect everyone according to their position. By that only we can chant the holy names without offenses. So what Bhakti Thakur says in that song. Okay, but yeah, the point of the verse is that we cannot externally see the devotee's faults. Yes. Please read translation.
What should be done in the association of devotees? Give respect accordingly.
Yeah.
Manadena. Manadena 5. What should not be done in the association of devotees? Don't find faults unnecessarily. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Second, indeed, one should overlook a devotee having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. Third, it is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges water do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water.
Yeah. So we explained the fifth verse and sixth verse. I just wrote the summary of the fifth and sixth verses, and Prabhupada also giving the reason here. He's bringing into the verse translation that because he is not identifying with the body and situated in his original Krishna conscious position, that's why a devotee should not be seen from the materialistic point. That's a Prabhupada's bhavartha. He's expanding the meaning of the verse because he's giving, he's not identifying the devotee. He's not identifying with the body. That's why, and he's also dedicated to the service of the Krishna, service of the mission of Krishna. So he should not be seen from materialistic point of view. And we know in our movement also there are many many acharyas having different challenges with the body. And to take the names, His Holiness Sri Pataka Swami Maharaj, etc. And very serious in terms of external bodily variations or changes or manifestations. But one should not consider them to be material. Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastrair. He is Sakshat Hari as a guru is. But then one can ask, then how the body is not, when we say that the body of spiritual master is spiritual, then how it become like that? No. The constituents, by constituents, the body has the material effects on the body, but by intent is always spiritual. So by the intentions and by the aspirations and by the desires, one is spiritual. He is spiritual in that sense. And how he is engaging the body is also makes it spiritual, not just by constituents. So that's how he is spiritual in nature. We say that because he is 100%, more than 100%, is dedicated to the mission of Krishna and spiritual master. That's why body is considered spiritual. Just like a Prabhupada gives example of iron and fire. When you put the iron in the fire, so after some time, iron becomes the fire. Iron becomes the fire means you understand. Now you might have definitely seen that iron is there. Definitely, iron is looking like iron only, but it
It
acting
gets
like
the quality of fire.
correct. It is acting like fire. It acts like fire. So that's the nature of spiritual body. Also, it acts only for Krishna's pleasure. It acts only for service of Krishna, not for anything kind of such gratification. Okay, so that's why we should not see the to in terms of material outlook. We should not have any kind of material outlook towards that kind of towards those personalities, especially exalted devotees. Guru Narmatishu, Vaishnava Jati Buddhi, Atya Hiladishu. I think there are 10 things. The Padma Puran says how if intelligence sees that which is spiritual as a material, then his buddhi is Naraki Buddhi. Arche Vishnu Shladeshu. If one thinks that this deity is only a stone, Guru Naramateshu, a spiritual master, is an ordinary person. Vaishnava Jati Buddhi is thinking Vaishnavas belongs to particular caste, etc. Even Ganga and other things are ordinary waters. Acharan Amrit as an ordinary water. These are all, we need to be careful when we are dealing with the spiritual objects. As a summary of this verse, we need to deal the spiritual objects very carefully. Yes, bro, continue. Who is reading? Or devotees you want to read?
Just a minute. Somebody else is reading,
Yeah, some other
or shall I
devotee can read.
continue?
Prabhuji, I can read it.
Okay, okay.
I think those who couldn't read, Amal Draupadi Mataji is there.
I didn't get chance, Prabhuji.
There's no problem.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I think she didn't read from long time. Maybe she can read it.
Okay.
Read.
Prabhuji, me?
Yeah.
By engaging in PDS, one is in a liberated condition. Shuddha Bhakti, the activity of the soul proper, in other words, engagement in the transcendental level of the Lord, is performed in a liberated condition. In Bhagavad Gita 14.26, it is stated, Mamachayo.
You can read translation, no problem.
Okay. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. What is Avyabhicharini Bhakti? Avyabhicharini Bhakti means unalloyed devotion. A person engaged in devotional service must be free from material motives. In this Krishna conscious movement, just a minute, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I cannot zoom out. Okay. In this Krishna conscious movement, when consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed toward material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. And B, if it is aimed towards serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. A surrendered soul serves Krishna without material considerations. As per Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, unalloyed devotional service, which is transcendental to the activities of the body and mind, such as jnana and karma, is called pure Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the proper activity of the soul, and when one actually engages in unalloyed, uncontaminated devotional service, he is already liberated.
Yeah, Sabuna. Okay, thank you. So here Prabhupada starts the whole purport with how one is liberated condition, how you decide that one is a liberated condition. That means the externals should not be considered. The point was a pure devotee externals should not be considered is the main point of the purport, the verse, the translation. So how you decide what makes the person liberated, or what is the criteria to decide, and also how to come to that platform in other sense. Then that Prabhupada explains Shuddha Bhakti, what is Shuddha Bhakti, and what is a liberated condition. So he quotes mainly from Bhagavad Gita, Mam Chayoga Vicharena, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samati Daitan Brahmadhyaya Kalpate. So based on that verse, based on that statement, he explains how Avyabhicharini Bhakti means is a platform. Those who are practicing are also called liberated devotees. Those who are striving to practice the Avyabhicharini Bhakti, unalloyed devotion, they are also considered liberated devotees. Also, that when we say, Prabhupada many times mentions that those who are practicing devotional service, they are already liberated. Many times Prabhupada says, They are beyond Maya. They are Bhakti is because Bhakti is beyond Maya. Bhakti is it's not at all included in affected by three modes of nature. Definitely, definitely that's the point that when one is practicing seriously and sincerely, one is beyond the three modes. But Prabhupada mentions that it is just that he has to realize it. It's just that he has to realize that he is in a liberated position. Yeah, definitely we are trying to practice bhakti, but our bhakti is now in the affected by the modes. Generally, you might have definitely read and heard in the Kapila section. It comes how though bhakti is beyond the modes, but because the practitioner is in the modes, what he practices also is influenced by the modes because he has a consciousness which is affected by the modes. So he gives the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness, the qualities. What kind of a attitude or qualities or the desires that when one has, then accordingly one is called, one's bhakti is called tamasi bhakti, or rajasic bhakti, or sattvika bhakti, or shuddha bhakti, the four levels. You will read in third canto, the Kapila section, when you come to that one. But we might have definitely heard tamasi bhakti is explained by Diti also. Just now we are in temple, we are reading the sixth, almost completed sixth canto and seventh canto, first chapter is going on. Sixth canto last part where Diti performs Punsavanavata to get a son to kill Indra. So that kind of bhakti is called tamasic bhakti. You want to destroy others, you want to have kind of a so much envious, you want to harm others. So that kind of bhakti when you perform, that is called tamasi bhakti. When you perform rajasi bhakti means you have a lot of aspirations for material enjoyment, material prosperity, name, fame, etc. That is called rajasic bhakti, just like Dhruva Maharaj is given example. He had a passion to achieve something such a greater than the Brahma. So that's called passionate or rajasic bhakti. And sattvika bhakti is called Putu Maharaj. So example is given. Conducting many yajnas, etc. So Shuddha Bhakti is just like all the pure devotees, Pandavas and all the pure devotees, Prahlad, etc. All these are all pure devotees, Shuddha Bhakti. These are all the categorization, but the categorization based on the desires that one consciousness one has. So that's why Prabhupada brings out here that the consciousness has to be changed. Then we can go from Kanishta to Uttam and also to practice Avyabhicharani Bhakti or come to the point of unalloyed devotion. Where when we realize and we also see others on that platform, when we come to that platform, we also can recognize those who are liberated. That is also one of the point here to Prabhupada bringing out this topic that unless one is on a it's a general principle also that we see everything according to our own the glasses that we have on our eyes. If we have eyes of if we have the glasses of red color, we see everything as red. Prabhupada gives the example comes in the next verse also when we have jaundice, we may see everything as yellow. Here also the example that when he is liberated, he can recognize the other devotee who is liberated without seeing the externals. That is the main point here. So when we come to that platform of liberated condition by practicing devotional service, by Vibhacharani Bhakti, by practicing Sagunan Samati Deta, so we can come to that platform, and in that platform, one can actually see the internals, not just the externals of a devotee. Yes. Yes, so I think there are 5 more minutes are there. We can continue. We can continue read. Any other devotee wants to read? Ravi bro. Yeah, Ravi. Yeah, please.
One's devotional service may be pure, but what about one's body? Krishna's devotee is not subjected to material condition, even though his bodily features may appear materially conditioned. One should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. We see according to the spectacles. Unless one is actually a devotee, cannot see another devotee perfectly. As explained in the previous words, there are three types of devotees: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between a devotee and non-devotee. He is simply concerned with worshipping the deity in the temple. A Madhyam Adhikari, however, can distinguish between devotee and non-devotee as well as between the devotee and the Lord. Thus, he treats the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee and the non-devotee in different ways. In a sense, no one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked. What should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business, which is devotional service, pure service to the Supreme Lord.
Yeah.
What to yes?
Yeah. Then again, next topic is the start. Prabhupada starts with how one need to see, how one try to see the external features, and then he talks about other things, especially the features, external feature, how one should consider them. But he gives the main essence here. So one should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view by considering that he is not subjected to the material condition, even though the bodily features may appear materially conditioned. So once devotional service, as we are trying to progress, we may be performing, and we may be, and many, not only we, other devotees definitely may be performing pure devotional service internally, a liberated condition. But what about body? And Prabhupada says we should not see from materialistic point of view the body. And then we see according to our spectacles, that as I explained example, Prabhupada also mentions, unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. Atmavat manyate jagat. That is the statement. Atmavat manyate jagat means we see everything as like us. Whatever we are, we see everyone like that. If I am trying to look for something, we see that everyone is also looking for the same thing. That's a different consciousness. If I'm aspiring for something, then I feel and consider that others are also aspiring for the same thing. Generally, it's like that consciousness. Yeah, Prabhupada says, so as we advance, we can definitely, we also will be on the platform of liberation, a liberated condition, and thereby we can see the actual business of the liberated personality. So then Prabhupada connecting to the previous verse, so he's saying that he will be gradually elevated unless one is actually devotee, he cannot see devotee perfectly. So one should be elevated himself, one should be elevated to the higher platforms so that he can see exactly what other devotees are. So in that way, he again categorized and mentioned about the characteristics of the Kanishta and Madhyam. And he is mentioning the principle that what should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business and not the externals. So here the main point always is the externals and internals. So no one should criticize the body defects of your devotee, the external factors, but the main business has to be always given importance. So then what are the external factors? What are the external features that we may try to see as a material? That Prabhupada explains in the later part of the purport. So almost the remaining part he dedicates to that. What are the external features? Just like the birth is an external feature, or the bodily features are the external feature. Both the birth in the sense, just like if we are taken birth in other caste or any other families, so that is also an external feature. That should not also be should not be seen. And the bodily features, different bodily features that Prabhupada explains should not be seen. But one should focus on his business. We will continue in the next session tomorrow. We'll try to see how we should not focus on external features, but the activities of the devotee. And of course, Prabhupada here gives a verse which says that even activities also sometimes may appear to be very confusing, very much disturbing. What to do with that activities also. So he quotes the Abhitya Sudarachara verse to substantiate that point. And even sometimes the external activities, not only the features of birth and the bodily features, but activities also sometimes they may be abominable. But what should be focused on, how should deal with that, that also Prabhupada here clarifies here. Okay, we'll pause here for the today and tomorrow we'll continue on this aspect. Thank you very much for your
Tomorrow 3 o'clock, no, Prabhu?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, 3 to 5 tomorrow. Okay, fine.
Hare Krishna.
Sagar Prabhu, is it you can check with others if it is okay to 3 to 5 on Saturday also we can have common 3 to 5 for this.
Okay,
I
Prabhuji,
think that is
probably
the.
I need to go for book distribution, so it will be
Okay,
30 to 4:30.
no problem, no problem. Okay. Sure.
Prabhuji, regarding the open book questions, you are going to let us know.
Yeah,
Mataji, I have received it from
Okay.
Prabhuji. I'll send it today evening. I'm going out for something, but I'll send that. So there are two specific questions that I have to send. I'll make a cut and then I'll send it. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, no issues.
Thanks.
yeah, Sagar
Hare
Prabhu
Krishna.
will communicate with all of you about the questions.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat, dandavat.
Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki jai.
Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Shri Upadesh Amrita ki jai. Hare Krishna.